Thank you, Madam Chair, and thanks to the Minister for coming today. Minister, you and your department gave an extra $42 million to the CBC earlier this year, and it was, quote, to save journalism. Well, we found out that half of the $42 million went to bonuses. How does bonuses, in your opinion, save journalism? Of the $42 million that you handed over extra to the CBC, while $18 million went to the bonuses. How did it save journalism in this country?
C'est totalement faux.
Well, that's completely false. The government reinvested money after the cuts of $115 million made by the Harper-Poilievre government to ensure that we would be able to maintain our ability to have high-quality journalism throughout the country. And now we all know, for the recent cuts, that there is a media crisis throughout the country. It's more and more the web giants that have money, even on the private sector for the private media outlets. Now, to ensure the quality.
Minister, you gave an extra $42 million, and it was supposed to help journalism. Instead, it helped with the bonuses. $3.3 million to the executives. The other was spread around. So as a former union rep, a very successful union rep, I might add, what would you have told your members in this situation? They're cutting massively in jobs on the ground, and yet the bonuses went all to executives. So you, as a former union rep, what would you say to this?
Premièrement, je réfute l'affirmation.
First of all, I'm going to refute my colleague's statement that there are massive cuts at CBC Radio-Canada, because that's false. Jobs have been maintained at CBC Radio-Canada. There has been some attrition of some positions, that's all. And all of that is because our government supports CBC Radio-Canada. And if it was for the Conservatives, well, those 8,000 jobs under those cuts would be threatened. So in terms of jobs, as a former union worker, I very much remember what the Conservatives did in terms of job losses at CBC Radio-Canada.
Does this sit well with you as the minister, that the rank and file in this case paid the price, and the bonuses were giving that your department gave, the extra $42 million, $18 million of that went to the executives? Does that sit well with you today? Trying to save journalism, as you said?
Je suis très fière aujourd'hui en tant que syndicaliste.
I'm very proud as a Minister of Canadian Heritage and former union worker to be fighting so hard each day to prevent the Conservatives from destroying our incredible institution that is nearly 100 years old, that provides so many services to Canadians. Without CBC Radio-Canada, there might no longer be any French outside of Canada, and I will fight against what the Conservatives are trying to do to our public broadcaster.
Minister, very quickly, Tate's tenure at CBC since 2018. Is it a success or a failure, knowing today that the viewership is in decline, the ad revenue has plummeted, and the trust in this country on the public broadcaster has declined? So, Tate, your opinion as minister, has it been a success or a failure since 2018? Very quickly.
Tout ce que les conservateurs font, c'est attaquer.
All the Conservatives do is attack individuals to try to get license to destroy an institution. We can disagree on, or you can disagree on some decisions, but the reality is that over half of Canadians each month visit Radio-Canada and CBC and cite it as being a reliable, credible source of information. Not only that, but
I'm going to share my time with Mr. Currick. Go ahead, Damien.
So allow me, excuse me, Mr. Currick, you are going to only have about 50 seconds. Actually, less than that. So just to let you know. Go ahead.
Just to be clear, Minister, you refused to rule out earlier a big taxpayer bonus to the scandal-plagued jet-setting and recently revealed conflict of interest CEO of CBC. a CEO that makes more than the Prime Minister and more than double your salary as a minister. $18 million went in fat bonuses at a time when Canadians are visiting food banks in record numbers. For the sake of taxpayers and all Canadians that are struggling, let's agree that while we may disagree on the future of CBC, we can agree today to defund bonuses at the public broadcaster. Minister, will you today commit to reject any request for bonuses that ends up on your desk and commit to issuing a cabinet directive of that nature?
Je veux juste rappeler à mon collègue conservateur la...
I just want to remind my Conservative colleague of the Harper Poilievre government's attitude at the time. And now what we heard from the former policy advisor that explained in 2009 in the Policy Options magazine what happened if you were like Hubert Lacroix and a high executive. Well, the more you make cuts, the higher your bonuses. And that really shows what the priorities were. And it recommended that the next government do the same things. She wrote that the Harper government tied ministers' bonuses to how many cuts were made and so on. So I don't want to hear about bonuses being so problematic. And I want to remind people that the Conservatives want to completely defund CBC Radio-Canada. That would lead to the closure.
We've gone over time on that.